I'm Ben. This is my best attempt at a lo-fi girl outfit, and if you like cats or games about cats, or you just love chucking dice around, I've got a game for you. Stick around and I'll teach you how to play Purrramid, a game for 2 to 4 players designed by Reiner Knizia and published by Lucky Duck Games.
Grandma has adopted a lot of mischievous kittens over the years, and you've come over at just the right time to help put the little furballs to bed. As it happens, these guys have a very specific sleeping arrangement. A pyramid of cats. A Purrramid, if you like, and it's your job to help stack it up.
You'll have to rely on dice rolling and pushing your luck to put your group of kittens to bed faster than your cat stacking rivals. Hope you're feline lucky. Who wrote this?
You did, Ben.
Oh, right.
Setting up Purrramid is a piece of cake. First, choose a side of the board to play on. Each side features a slightly different layout for extra variety, but the rules stay exactly the same. Choose who's going to go first. You could choose the player who most recently petted a cat, or choose your own criteria. Then deal out cat tiles. For 4 players, give everyone 18 tiles, then have the last player give the first player one of their tiles. This is to give the last player a slight advantage, and the first player a slight disadvantage. For 3 players, give everyone 24 tiles, then, again, have the last player give the first player one of their tiles. For 2 players, give everyone 25 tiles, then the first player takes an extra one from the supply, and with the leftover cats, fill the bottom 2 rows of the board.
Now I should point out that all of these translucent cat tiles are exactly the same for in-game purposes. But don't let that stop you from making sure you get at least one cat of every type, or all of the ones that look like the one you have at home.
Set the 12 gold cat tiles to one side. You won't need those yet. Place a wool token on every space with an 8 on it. For the purposes of this video, I've taken these off in some shots to remind you that the 8 is underneath, but in your game, you'll leave these on each space for now. Then, give the 5 dice to the starting player, and you're ready to play.
A game of Purrramid is played over a series of rounds, with players taking turns rolling dice and attempting to assign cats to the pyramid.
Every turn has 4 simple steps. Step 1, roll the dice. Straightforward stuff. Step 2, build the pyramid. Take 1 or more dice that add up to a number printed on a space on the pyramid that doesn't have a sleeping cat on it already, and place them on that space. For example, this 6 space on the board can be occupied by a dice with a 6 on it, or 2 dice with a 4 and a 2 on it. As you'll see shortly, you need to place your dice strategically if you want to win. Later on, it's possible that you may roll a combination of numbers that don't allow you to place dice on the pyramid, in which case you bust. But we'll talk more about that in a second. Step 3. Assuming you don't bust, you can either stop or continue. If you continue, take all of the dice left over and go back to step 1. Roll the dice and assign 1 or more dice onto the pyramid. If you stop, either by choice or because you have no more dice left, you move on to step 4. Place cat tiles. Hang on, before you go putting down your cats, you only get to put down cat tiles if you meet certain placement conditions.
Building a pyramid is a bit of a fine art and requires careful planning. It's time for a crash course in kiddie construction.
While you can technically place your dice anywhere on your turn, by the end of your turn, in other words, when you stop or use up all of your dice, you need to make sure you're obeying 2 specific rules. Firstly, you have to obey the laws of gravity. A pyramid is built from the ground up, after all. In other words, no dice floating in mid-air at the end of your turn, because cats can't levitate, and no dice hanging over edges either. Your dice need to be supported. In other words, all spaces beneath your dice contain cats, other dice, or the floor. Otherwise, the whole pyramid could collapse. And secondly, your dice have to be connected to each other. Your cats need to be placed with their friends. However, at no point do your dice have to connect to other cat tiles already on the board. If you can't abide by these rules, you bust. But remember, that's only at the end of your turn. Nothing stops you from forming a gap or leaving dice unsupported during your turn and then fixing things later on in the same turn with another roll of the dice. As an example that combines both of these rules, let's say on roll 1 we get a 5, placing it here. Then when we roll again, we get a 4, placing it here. We'll then have to continue and hope for a 6 on our next roll. We can't stop now, or we'll bust. But assuming you followed all placement rules and didn't bust, you can proceed to placing cat tiles. Replace the dice on the board with cat tiles from your personal supply, 1 for each space, with the exception of 10 spaces where you'll put down 2 cats, and 12 spaces where you'll put down 3 cats stacked on top of each other. If you put down a cat tile on an 8 space, and only when you put down a cat tile, you take the ball of wool on it and put it in front of you. We'll talk more about these shortly too. It's then the next player's turn.
Alright, let's talk about what happens when you bust.
If you're ever unable to place any dice on the pyramid after rolling, or if you stop without meeting the conditions we just talked about, you bust. Take back any dice placed on the pyramid without placing any cat tiles. Your turn is over. Unless you happen to have some wool tokens.
You can use any wool tokens you have to re-roll dice during your turn and potentially stop yourself from busting.
If you're ever unhappy with a roll, return a wool token to the box and re-roll all the dice you just rolled. As long as you have wool tokens, you can re-roll as many times as you like.
Now you might have been thinking up until now, why would anyone push their luck instead of just playing it safe? This is what separates the novices from the professionals.
At the end of your turn, you can earn an instant bonus turn by meeting one or both of the following conditions. You used all 5 dice on your turn, following placement rules. You placed dice on 3 or more levels of the pyramid, again, following placement rules. A bonus turn plays out exactly the same way as a regular turn. Roll, build, stop or continue, and place tiles. However, you just use 1 less die. If on your bonus turn you meet one of the 2 bonus turn conditions again, you can take another bonus turn, again setting another dice to the side. If you're lucky enough to take a bonus turn using just 1 die and succeed in placing it on the pyramid, you don't get any more bonus turns. Give someone else a go already.
The first player to place all of their cat tiles on the pyramid is the winner and becomes Grandma's new favourite helper. But who says the game has to end there? There's an additional endgame section which is ideal if you want to have endgame scoring for each player, or you want to play multiple games of Pyramid.
When one player finishes placing their cat tiles, give them the gold cat tiles immediately and continue playing as normal. It's not necessary to stop to receive the gold cat tiles, so in other words, during a single turn, it's possible for a player to place both regular cat tiles and gold cat tiles. Continue taking turns in the same way until one of the following game end conditions is met. The pyramid is complete and the board is full of sleeping cats. A second player places all of their cat tiles on the board, or all gold cat tiles have been placed on the board. If one or more of these happens at the end of someone's turn, the game ends immediately.
It's time to see how many points everyone's got.
Any players with regular cat tiles left over scores negative points for each one in front of them. Leftover wool tokens are worth nothing. The winner scores as many points as there are gold cat tiles on the board. In addition, they can reference the back of the rulebook to see what bragging rights they have. Will they be a decent kitten juggler, or an ultimate purrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr play again, simply clear the board of cat tiles, flip the board over if you wish for extra variety, refill the 8 spaces with balls of wool, and redistribute cat tiles to players. When you finish playing multiple games, add up your scores from each game to see who has the highest total score.
And that's everything you need to know about Purrramid, except for one thing.
If you pick up a copy of Purrramid during this special pre-order period, you'll also get your hands on a free Purrramid promo pack, which includes some deluxe components. There's golden Sphinx tokens, which replace the usual gold cat tiles, wooden wall balls, which replace the usual cardboard tiles, and a cat-themed dice tower.
That's all for now. I've been Ben. This has been Purrramid. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Ben. This is Roman. You just walk that way. You just keep walking.
Ready for Hollywood.
Oh no, Sam, help!